Hi everyone, it's Lillian here from Stamper's Niche from Spruce Grove, Alberta, Canada. And I just got this little wonderful machine last night and I thought I would just pop on and show it to you. I am just learning about it, but I am loving it. So it's the new Stampin'Cut Emboss Machine. It has these lovely labels here that are actually metal, not plastic like that. And when you get it, the only thing you have to do, as with pretty much all cutting and embossing machines, you have to add the handle. So I'm going to put you down to my desk and we're going to have a little closer look. I have put the camera a little higher because I thought that might be helpful so that you're not just doing a nosedive and getting so close to it. Let me just make sure that you're up on my computer and that all things are go. So it looks like this. It is so sleek. It is modern looking. Some of you have asked how it compares to the Big Shot machine, and what I am finding is it, so far anyway, it looks just great. It's a little bit taller. So last night in my Stampin' Time group, which is my stamp club, they asked to see. So it comes just about there, but obviously takes up a lot less footprint space, or however you talk about that, on your desk. So when it's closed up, it's like this. It carries beautifully. I'm just showing you all this before I open it up. It has these feet, so it's pretty flat here. The feet are recessed in, so they're just, I would say a 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch raised. When I opened this last night, I was on my kitchen counter and I put it down and it would not budge. So it has a really good grip. It doesn't do quite so well on paper, but that I just found it had a really good grip. So when you go to open it, there are little notches here to put your thumb in, and you just flatten it out like that. And then when you're finished, you put it up, and yes, it makes a lot of noise. In fact, you could, if your husband's sleeping, you could wake him up. So you can be a little more gentle, but it does tend to make that little snapping noise. And so that's how that is. When you get this, you also get a package containing all of this, which I am going to show you in just a moment here. And then this little tool comes with the with what you need to fasten the handle on. Always keep this. It's like a little Allen wrench. I have a safe spot for it. One time I didn't, and my handle on my other die cutting machine came loose after so much use, and I actually had to borrow one to tighten it up. So I have learned the hard way to keep this in a safe spot. You may not ever need it, but if ever you do need to tighten it, you want to hang on to it. It's sort of like building that IKEA furniture. You need that little tool. So let's look through this here. The first thing is the guide. So here's the instructions in many different languages, but the English one is right here. There's a 3-year warranty on this machine, which is really neat. The other thing is you can also go online and see tons of information, and I'll talk about that. But Stampin'Up has their own YouTube channel. They have several YouTubes about this machine, and they also have some instructions, so I will talk about that in a minute. And then you get these, and you'll notice they all have numbers. So this has a number 4, 3, 2, and 1. So this is your platform, and it is about the same size as the platform we had in the old die cutting machine. But one of the advantages of this one is everything is going to build on this. You do not have to substitute a magnetic plate in or anything like that. also, it tells you how to make your sandwiches right here, and it's got the numbers. So if I wanted to use it for cutting a thin die, which we're going to do in a little bit, I would use number 1. So here's number 1, number 2, here's number 2, and 2 number 3s with the die and the paper in between. So number 3, number 3. And this machine made its maiden voyage last night, so I bet you can guess what we cut out last night. One thing like that. So let's look down. If you're using a standard embossing folder, so not the 3D, but the standard, you would use a number 1, your 2 clear plates with the embossing folder and paper in between. If you're using the 3D embossing folders, you would use your plate, number 1, and number 4. And number 4 is this right here. So this is exactly the same, and I meant to have it out, and I will get it out right now. People have been telling me my voice fades, so do let me know if it fades. If you didn't get this to use with the old die cutting machine, guess what? This is the same. So this will replace it. So that just adds the extra thickness. So I am absolutely loving the instructions here, and so because I have so many customers going, I always forget what to do, and then it says insert embossing folders hinge first, so the fold first. So lots of good instruction right on here, and then down here for training tips and ideas, visit stampin'up.com/cut and emboss. And there's way more detail there. But this is your basic, and it is pretty much good to go. Now, just like, oh, I have to show you. Looking at this plate, and whoops, looking at the plate that I am going to retire, look at the difference. But this is a well-loved plate. In fact, it is so old and got so many grooves in it, I had to use a pastry scraper to get some of my dies out of there, my paper out. So it's always exciting and yet a little bit, you just don't want to mark up a new one, but I'm going to. One hint, when you are using your clear plates, always keep your cutting one the same. So this is going to be my cutting one. I am not going to cut on this one. It'll get marks on it, but it's no big deal. This is the one I'm cutting on. And the reason I keep that, and when it gets a little wow in it, I just turn it over. It keeps it nice and flat. So even though this one has been well loved, well used, it is still nice and flat, as you can see. And that's because I've always kept it on the bottom in the one position. So let's take a look-see here. I thought I would try to make a simple little card with you today, and we are going to use this. So I need to first off, just get this to the side. Oh, just before I make the card, just in case this is on your wish list, this die cutting machine. Now the mini is coming soon, they say, so hopefully before Christmas, but it's not here yet. The die cutting machine is $163. So it is only available to demonstrators right now. In September it will be available to everybody, but of course $163, and then you add shipping and handling and GST, and it adds a fair amount up there. But if it's on your wish list and you are not a demonstrator, here's another option just to think about. Because when you become a demonstrator, you get whatever you want for $135, but it can be up to $165 products. So $163 is just $2 less than this. You could get the die cutting machine for $165, no shipping and handling, no GST, and you could get it right now. So just something to think about if that's on your radar there. The other thing is, some people have asked, how about storing these? What if I want to, say, take it to the lake or take it camping? And that is the advantage of this machine. You don't need electricity. It will work anywhere, outside, inside. What about a place to store these? Well, guess what? The Stamparatus bag, this cute bag here, guess what? It will all fit in here. You can tuck it into the pockets or wherever, and it zips right up, and you're good to go. So if you're looking for storage for your plates, you might want to check out the Stamparatus bag. Okay, enough side trips. Let's make a card. So first off, I'm going to just fold this up. This is going to be a simple little card, but we're going to do embossing and we're going to do die cutting. So I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to put that to the side and work on this. Now, some of you have been following me and know that I have been having fun with the Cute Fruit stamp set. So that's what I'm going to use today. I'm going to bring the Cute Fruit stamp set is found in the beginner brochure right here. Here's the Cute Fruit. It's 153301 if you're wanting to order it. So I'm going to use the bananas and Daffodil Delight to begin with. And I'm going to put one banana there, one banana, two banana, and I want to put one just behind it. So what I did is I stamped the banana. This is called masking. It's a technique. I stamped the banana on a post-it note and cut it out right on the line. I didn't leave any edges, and the reason you want something thin like a post-it note is because you don't want a ridge. So I'm actually, and I always cut 2 or 3 out at a time and then just keep them in my stamp case like this so that they're ready for the next time. Now, when I ink this up, because I want it to look like it's coming from behind, I'm going to stamp 1, 2, 3, lift, peel this off, and it's just like magic. And I didn't press quite hard enough there, but it will be just fine for the purpose of this. I'm going to close that up. Now, this Cute Fruit stamp set also has a stem for the banana, and I only need one stem because the other one is hidden. So let's just fasten that down in here like that. Oh, it's like magic. And let's put a face on this banana. These faces come right with the stamp set. Don't you just love it? Okay, so I'm going to show you a little trick. If you do get something like that, you can bring in a blender pen. Just make sure it's clear, and sometimes you can just draw enough of the color in that it softens that up a bit. So I think that one's nearly dry, but that's pretty good. So what I am going to do with this in a moment is run it through the Tasteful Texture 3D embossing folder. What I'm also going to do is I want to make a frame to go around here. So I'm going to bring in the cinnamon cider from the In Color, oh, I can't talk and do things at the same time. In Color designer paper. And I'm going to cut out that. So let's do the cutting out part first. Give myself a bit of room. So for cutting, I need number 1, number 2, 2 number 3s. Make sure I've got the cutting one there. It'll be very obvious in a little bit. So the width here is 6 inches. And always when I am building, before I run it through, I always do, just like when you're straightening out a stack of paper, I always make sure the edges are all lined up. So what I'm going to do here first is cut the center of my little frame out. So let's put a number 3 on top again. So I've got, It's sandwiched between a 3 and a 3, and run it through. It runs through beautifully. Okay, take it out, and can you go backwards? Yes, you can. So put that back down. Snap out this, and I can use that for something else. And I let my die get a little crooked, but that'll be okay. So now I'm going to cut another die around the outside, and because the magnetic plate isn't available for this right now, what I'm going to, it will be in September, I think. I'm just going to use a post-it note to hold it in place because I don't want this to wiggle on me. And there we go, like that. Hi Lynn, hi Sheila. Good to have you here. If you're watching, just give me a hi. Oh, I think I got this a little crooked. Guess what? I'm taking this out of the way. There we go. Okay, let's get you straight. You know what it is I'm not left-handed, and I have to go the other way just because I'm doing it sideways for the video. There we go. Well, I made that look a lot more difficult than it is. So let's peel this off. But part of that is because I am working sideways. Now I have made a little frame like that. And my other step is that I want to do embossing, and it's a 3D embossing folder. So I need a number 1 and a number 4. So let's get it back over here. Bring this in. So I've got number 1. I'm going to tuck this in here. I'm just getting a little bit of interest because this is such a simple card. Now number 4 is this one here. So I'm putting the folded edge so it goes in first, and then this, and let's run it through. Isn't that neat? It just goes smooth as butter. And when we open it up, so the embossing works beautifully. So let's finish the card off now that you've seen a little bit of the machine. Bring this back in. I didn't even glue that down. I hadn't planned to do a Facebook Live, but then when it arrived, I thought, no, I've got to show you. And so what I'm going to do here is put that on dimensionals. I think it has to be mini dimensionals. Let's bring them in. And let's, sometimes I just don't know what I've done here. I'm actually supposed to be making pies for my daughter's birthday, and I did a little side trip. Sheila, you would be wishing you were here because they're going to be your favorite pies. The blueberry glazed. Those are always her birthday thing. It's too bad blueberries are almost out of season by the time her birthday rolls around. I'm going to try to squeeze in there just so it's going to show. So what I'm going to do, even though these are tiny, I'm actually going to cut them in half. I just want a little bit of support there in the middle because this is designer paper, so it's quite thin. So there we go, one there. And the reason I cut them in half when they're still here before I took them off, it doesn't make your scissors so sticky if you cut them in half when they're still fastened to the backing. There we go, and one more. We're almost finished here. Where's my take your pick tool? I find this really helpful with the minis for some reason. If I bring it in at an angle, it just picks them up. I learned this from another demonstrator, and at first I thought, oh no, it's not going to work, but I found if I come in at an angle, and then I'm good to go. And then I have to feel and make sure I've got them all, because I'm sidetracked. Just make sure no dimensionals are showing. There we go. Let's go like that. It's a little frame. So now I'm going to put that on just another plain sheet of white paper, Whisper Whites that hasn't been texturized. I'm going to use my multi-purpose adhesive here. I just love that adhesive. Once I learned how to drive it, like anything else, it's all getting used to using something. Then I'm going to put this on regular dimensionals. Ooh, I'm getting a little low. I do have more. So put that there. Remember, you use everything on a dimensional sheet. Outside edges, everything. They all work. And to start them, I often will just fold it back a bit so I can get my finger in there. Let's put a couple here. Peel those backings off. My fingers can work better on these, it seems like, but the little ones, I really do need the take your pick tool. And I'll make sure I don't get my head in the picture. I'm trying to speak a little louder. Do let me know if it's working. And pretty simple, but I do want to put a bit of this now. Do I want cinnamon cider or bumblebee? I think I'm going to go with bumblebee. There's one here. Remember, it always is good to roll your paper. So, oh, I'll just put one there. You can overthink it. And when it's embellishments, you can't go too far wrong, right? That's my philosophy. There, now this card was inspired by a fellow demonstrator named Lori Heiling, something like that. She made it with the coffee cup in there, but here it goes with this. So there's a quick little card made with the embossing folder, the die cuts, and showing you to the new Stampin'Cut Emboss Machine. So just thought I'd let you know about that. I will definitely be doing more with the machine, but it's brand new. You saw it on, well, maiden voyage last night, but barely. So you have seen it just as I'm getting acquainted with it. So have fun, take care, and enjoy.